Hello and welcome to another episode of the Live the Way series. Today with Vaidya Sheena Sooraj. She is an accomplished Ayurvedic clinician and educator with 17 years of experience in India and the US. She did her B.A.M.S from Government Ayurveda College in Cochin and did her residency in the Government of Ayurveda College in Trivandrum in Kerala. She was a leading Kottakkal Arya Vaidya Sala dealer in Bangalore for 12 years. Right now, Vaidya Sheena is working at the Kerala Ayurveda Academy in the US as a core faculty member and practitioner. She's also a visiting faculty at the Arogya Center in New Mexico, and she conducts several Ayurvedic workshops in the Bay Area. So, without further ado, welcome, Dr. Sheena. Glad to have you here.
Namaste.
Thank you so much
Namaste,
for
Ricardo.
accepting my invitation. So,
Thank you.
today we're going to be talking about home remedies. So, I would like you to, when we say the word home remedies, what are we exactly talking about?
Okay, so first of all, let me thank you so much for inviting me to have a talk with you in this YouTube channel. I'm so happy and I'm so honored. Thank you so much, Ricardo. So about home remedies. So I don't think that I need to give a detailed explanation about home remedies because everyone is familiar with the word home remedies, right? So very close to our heart, very close to the nature, very close to our kitchen. That's what home remedy is. So home remedies are simple measures of symptom management for minor health issues or minor imbalances of the health. And as you all know, the informations regarding the home remedies are passed along from generation to generations. And that's the reason why we call home remedies as granny cure. Okay, granny cure. So, as you all know, every culture, every culture, irrespective of the continent, irrespective of the country, in every parts of the world, you can see different types of home remedies which is well connected with the traditional medicine. Okay, so I would like to talk a little bit about traditional medicine. So since Ayurveda is a traditional medicine, and if you look at any type of traditional medicines or anywhere, there is no specific category in that traditional medicine which is called home remedies. There is no branch or there is nothing mentioned as home remedy because these sciences, especially Ayurvedic science, is nothing but the set of principles that you need to implement in your day-to-day life. And World Health Organization has a specific definition for traditional medicines. So, according to WHO, the traditional medicine is the sum total of the knowledge, the skills, and the practices based on the theories, beliefs, and experiences indigenous to different cultures, whether explicable or not, used for the maintenance of health as well as for the treatment, for the diagnosis, for the prevention, and for the improvement of physical and mental illnesses. So, that is the definition. So, we have to take a certain points like beliefs. So, that beliefs is something what we call home remedies, the beliefs. And the traditional medicine like the traditional European medicine, traditional Korean medicine, traditional Persian medicine, Islamic medicine, then Iranian medicine, African medicine, Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, so on and so forth. So, like even in the United States, if you go to Alaska, the native Alaskan traditional medicine, right? If you go to Australia, the bush medicine, Australian bush medicine. So if you look at each and every traditional medicine, they're very close to the nature. So the ingredients that they are using are very close to the nature. But WHO wants you need to be very careful in implementing this traditional medicine in your day to day life. because you need to have a proper guidance, or you need to have you need to discuss that with a person who is experienced or who has the thorough knowledge about these medicines with, before jumping into practicing or implementing something. That is very, very important. But if you look at our, the grandma cure, or the folklorics, or the folk medicine, which doesn't have any, therapeutic values, like home remedies are a mix of both, right? Some are having therapeutic values, some may not be having. So, some people, they're in very much interested in introducing these home remedies as to get some placebo effect. Okay, so we don't really know whether that is having a therapeutic value. So that's why WHO says that there should be some evidence based studies or some researches are needed to know or to ascertain the efficacy and the efficacy and side effects of some of the ingredients that we are using in the traditional medicine. And once these traditional medicines are adapted outside of this culture, they are called complementary medicine or integrative medicine. And there are some scientific disciplines like the ethnobotany or ethnomedicine or herbalism, or medical anthropology. So these are actually studying these traditional medicine, which is good because ultimately this is for the well-being of the human population, right, for the people around the world. So there should be some researches, and especially in Ayurveda, I'm so happy that there are a lot of researches going on the basis of the herbs that we are using, different types of treatments like shodhana karmas or cleansing treatments, and what is the scientific aspect behind that, and how it is helping in controlling the hormonal level or eliminating some of the toxins from the system, and how the people, I mean, clients who are suffering from certain autoimmune conditions are getting better after undergoing these treatments, which is super fascinating. So so that's why, like, I am saying home remedies are very close to these traditional medicines. We cannot segregate them. Like, we cannot say that home remedies are entirely different from traditional medicine or the folk medicine. Both are similar, or both are actually like interlinked.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that holistic and complex response. Now, we spoke about the grandma type of medicine. So, if you look at today's day, completely different world that was in the time of our grandmothers. So, how do you think there was the evolution, or what did it change in terms when we look at home remedies, let's say in our present time that we're living?
Okay, it's a good question, Ricardo, because like every civilization or each civilization has its own home remedies. So every civilization views, interprets, and applies home remedies differently. And these home remedies, in fact, it got the popularity, or it came into like everyone's day-to-day life because of the hassle and the expense of the Western medicine. It still continues to rise. So people always think about going for something which is part of their culture and to use it as their primary healthcare management technique and try that first, then go for the other options, kind of. Okay. And these home remedies, especially a group of people who are very much into implementing something from the nature, or they want to get cured or get balanced using the natural ingredients and like spices or herbs or parts of some vegetables or some dried fruits, or whatever that is easily available or you can easily fetch from the kitchen cabinets. And why can't we try that? Because they are natural, and they are easily available and easy to implement ingredients, and they pose no harm to the body. And when our grandmas, or in our culture, when they implemented all these things, They never knew the scientific aspects behind these ingredients. They just randomly suggested those things. And especially, I can give you an example. If someone is having sore throat or having a nasal congestion or a cold, people never used to allow them to drink cold water. They say, okay, go for hot water. But they never knew the properties or the differences between the action of the cold water in the digestive system and the hot water in the digestive system. They never knew that. But how hard it should be for a person who has pitta imbalances, or a person who has kapha imbalances, or a person with vata imbalances. So, how hot it should be, whether it should be too hot or it should be moderate or it should cool, boiled and cools down, they never knew that. But when when it comes to Ayurveda, especially people like me, like Ayurvedic Vaidyas, we actually learn the basic principles of the science, and we know the bioenergetics of each ingredients that we call home remedies like spices and herbs, and we know how to implement that. So we see certain factors like the prakriti or the body type of the person, and the vikriti or the imbalances that are happening or going on in that person, because Ayurvedic approach is holistic approach, right? And we are not like managing things like on the basis of symptoms. And we have two goals, like Ayurveda has two goals in life. One is to preserve the health of the healthy, and the next one is eliminating the imbalances from a person who is suffering and to bring back health. That means to boost the immunity. And these home remedies are, since we are using the natural ingredients, they're easily available. And people want to have a holistic approach. So they love this idea. And like if you have a sore throat or I would say tonsillitis. So the home remedy is like wood ash. Wood ash is fried in a pan. We don't use oil or anything. Just heat up the pan, put this wood ash, just fry it, and add Himalayan pink salt. Take a square piece of cotton cloth, put it in that, then make a bundle. Just apply that warmth on on the throat. So that gives immediate relief. And lukewarm salt water is used for gargling. It subsides. It subsides within 2 or 3 days. And parallelly, they give rice gruel, like which is very watery. They add some spices to cook it, so that helps in the digestion. So this is what grandmas used to do, right? But when it comes to Ayurveda, we just see, okay, what is the root cause of the condition? Then we suggest accordingly. And in India, if you see, people grow plants that are having therapeutic values in their backyard or in their garden or in their farm. So you might have heard of like herbs like tulsi leaves, I mean tulsi plant, turmeric plant, aloe vera, then vasha like Adatoda vasica, then touch me not plant. So like lot of plants that are having uh, therapeutic values. In fact, Ayurveda says all the plants and all the ingredients in this universe are having the healing property. But something that is known to the layman, that they know, okay, this is good for this particular condition. So they grow all these plants in the backyard, and the parts of these plants were very effectively used for maintaining the ailments, like simple ailments or simple imbalances. And as you know, like uh, even people who don't know much about Ayurveda, much about the basic principles of Ayurveda, they say that the advantage of taking Ayurvedic medicines or Ayurvedic herbs, or the advantage of going for Ayurvedic treatment is like it doesn't have a side effect and it's cost effective and all the ingredients are natural. Of course, I do agree with certain points, but you cannot say that there is no side effect. That's where we have to say that always seek the advice from a Vaidya or from a practitioner, because anything that is in excess is a problem or that causes issues in the body and the mind according to Ayurveda. Even your thoughts, even the perceptions, everything should be moderate. So, how much or how long? That is a big that is the that has a lot of significance in our day-to-day life or day-to-day life. So how much time you are spending in front of the the gadgets, or how much you are spending time in front of the internet, or how much time you are spending for eating, or how much you are eating, when you are eating. Lot of factors are very very important for us to stay healthy. So if you don't know all these things, and simply closing your eyes and taking something randomly, that may not help you. That will actually put you into more trouble. Okay, so I'm saying that I'm so happy that I'm coming from a culture where people are more into home remedies, and like my grandfather was a Vaidya. So I, in fact, I was born in a family where everyone was used to these home remedies, and they were using Ayurvedic principles for the day-to-day life. So I'm much more familiar with all these things, and I know how people are more interested, or why they are coming to Ayurvedic Vaidyas for taking the treatment or the management techniques.
Yeah, that's true. You already touched in a few points this, but we see, especially now in social media, a lot of people are looking for quick and simple solutions. We even call them the hacks to apply on their life. And like you mentioned, sometimes there's underlying issues that have to be addressed rather than just the symptoms. So, how should we approach the use of home remedies? What are the benefits? What concerns should we have? Could you explain us a little bit more on that?
Sure, Ricardo. And that's actually a very good question, because the first thing that we do these days, most of the people, it doesn't matter how educated they are or how much exposure they have, even doctors who work in the medical field. So, if they have some symptoms, for example, if they have chapped lips or cheilitis, the first thing is, oh, I don't want to take an appointment with a doctor. This is something seasonal. I can apply some bee wax, or I'll try something like moistening. They try that. It doesn't work. Then they go for, they go to Google and search what are the Ayurvedic options, or what are the natural medicine. They'll come up with a lot of ideas. Then they go to the supermarket, or go to Target, or go to CVS, and buy randomly and try to do the experiments. But we need to know why this is not subsiding with the simple management. If it is due to the sudden change in the weather, and if you are hydrated enough, you're drinking enough water, then why this is not subsiding? So this is something not should not be managed with a simple random home remedies. So this needs an expert's advice, right? And many people might be more prone to connective tissue disorders, because if you read Ayurvedic Samhidas means the basic root textbooks of Ayurveda. We call Brihatrayis books like Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Ashtanga Hridayam, Ashtanga Sangraham. So all these books were written approximately 2000 years back, and in these books, Acharyas, our sages, they have written very clearly about the principles, or the qualities of each food ingredients, each substance is available, and do you have to mix some of the gunas or the qualities together, or you are not supposed to mix certain things together, and what will be the consequences if you take something sour with something sweet at the same time, taking something cold internally. So what's actually happening inside the digestive system? uh, so I'm stressing more on digestive system, because Ayurveda believes that anything that is undigested, whether in the form of liquid food or solid food, or your own thoughts, or the vital breath, anything that goes inside, if it is not digested completely, that leads to a condition called the ama formation. So ama means something uncooked or unprocessed. So that is the main culprit behind majority of the imbalances related to the body and the mind. So to prevent that, so what you need to do, so don't mix certain things simultaneously. You can have everything in this world, but there should be a limit. So there should be there are guidelines that you need to follow. So see, spices like ginger, then garlic, these are all the main ingredients in home remedies. But for a person who is having high pitta imbalances, or a person who has severe acid reflux, or a person who is suffering from peptic ulcer for a long period of time, or a person who has hemorrhoids or chronic constipation with burning sensation, or having the family history of hemorrhoids and fissures in anus, so these kind of people, how much they need to take? So, or do they have to take garlic and ginger, or do we have to process it, or do we have to mix it with something else, or by mistake if they had consumed something too spicy, how we can give the antidotes, so how we are balancing the system. So all these informations are very, very important. So when we talk about home remedies through the lens of Ayurveda, we have to implement that. There are so many home remedies, but how we are implementing that in certain conditions, that is very, very important. And if you go to Google, there are a lot of formulations available, lot of formulations. But uh, as a practitioner with many years of experience, Ricardo, I can say that while I was practicing in India, in India, there are pros and cons of like that people are more aware of these herbs and the formulations, and certain formulations they never consider it as Ayurvedic medicines or Ayurvedic formulations for specific health conditions. They consider it as home remedies, specific formulations, and they keep it at home, and they take it whenever they get indigestion, or then whenever they feel tired, they don't get enough sleep, they just drink it or they just gulp it, and the next day they'll end up in more complex issues. So each formulations or yogam, we call yogam in Sanskrit, each formulation is mentioned in specific health conditions in Ayurveda. So if you go to Google and search, I'm having acne. So, what are the Ayurvedic remedies or the formulations or the medicines for acne? There will be a list of medicines comes. But which one you are going to use? You cannot go to an Ayurvedic store, or you cannot go to the website and buy online whichever medicines are available. You cannot do that because in Ayurveda, we manage things on the basis of stages. There are different stages of diseases. So, even home remedies. So, home remedies means implementing the spices or implementing some herbs. Like the juice of a leaf, or the decoction of some roots. So where you are applying, or why do you apply, whether the problem is in the specific area or not. If you have a headache, if you do some home remedies like application of Acorus calamus paste on the forehead, and thinking that that will help in subsiding, if the headache is due to hyperacidity, it will never give you a relief, but at the same time, it will aggravate the problem. But at the same time, if you have a nasal congestion or sinusitis and you're doing the same technique, it will help you. Right. So that is the difference. So when we Ayurvedic Vaidyas manage cases, we look at the digestive fire, we look at the energy channels where there are a lot of blockades, or how many channels are involved, and which are the systems in the body that are involved, whether only one system or multiple systems are involved, and whether the expressions are related to the specific system or it's the after effect or the complication of some other health issues. Then we have different types of assessments in Ayurveda, like threefold examination, then 8 point examination, 10 point examination. We check the pulse, we look at the tongue, we ask questions regarding the poop, we ask questions regarding the urine. So everything is an information for an Ayurvedic Vaidya. That's why we take up minimum 90 minutes for consultation with clients. And As you know, Ricardo, there are a lot of people in, especially in the United States and Canada, they are interested in learning about Ayurveda. So I'm working in a place called Kerala Ayurveda Academy, where they have a lot of courses, like certificate courses, like counselor courses, practitioner courses. So in fact, majority of the students, especially those who come for the counselor courses, they want to know the science because they might be suffering from some diseases, or they might be tired of taking the western drugs. So they might have heard of the science from their friends, because Ayurveda is new to many people in the United States, right? So they come to learn the basic principles of the science, and their goal is to implement these things in their day to day life. So for a person who is taking left over for so many years and ended up in psoriasis or ended up in polyarthritis, that person never knew how much impact that person had in his body or in her body after taking these leftovers, or taking too much of cold salads, causing bloatedness and constipation, and eventually leading to a condition called a dementia spectrum, or multiple sclerosis or Parkinson disorders. They never knew this. So they just want to know how to live healthy. So it's not like they're going to be B.A.M.S doctors, or they're going to practice and treat patients in the West, but they want to be healthy, stay healthy, and they want to have the harmony between the mind and body. So that's the ultimate passion and the enthusiasm that our people in the West, they have to know about the essence of this science, and we are helping them. And we help them, especially to how to implement the regular Western herbs available here, because though Ayurveda evolved around 5000 years ago in the banks of river Indus, most of the herbs are not available in the West, in especially in Canada and in US. So whatever is available here, or whether they can go for options, or which one can be used instead of the particular one. So those type of information, the bioenergetics and the action in the body, that we share with them. So that is actually the greatest help that we can do for our people here.
Yes. So there's a few things you said. First of all, very important that one size doesn't fit all, even in simple things like home remedies. Also, it's true that more and more herbs are becoming available in North America. We can easily find Tulsi, you mentioned. You can easily find Triphala, ashwagandha. So are things that are becoming more and more available. So the more knowledge should be circulating about the effects of these herbs. And on that note, as Ayurveda is being more spreading out in terms of knowledge, there's other people that work with different, more traditional other medicines. And I'm saying, for example, essential oils and tinctures. People are using that more. How do you see this being combined with Ayurveda? How do you say these things being used under the context of Ayurveda?
Okay. I would say it's $1 million question, Ricardo, because here people are more into using essential oils and tinctures. Even in European countries, people prefer to have more tinctures for simple health issues. And so, first, let me talk about the tinctures. So the knowledge about tinctures for the West, it started, I think, by the year 1025. But when it comes to Ayurveda, though the exact preparation of the tinctures that the Westerners use is not mentioned in our Ayurvedic science, but something similar to that we call Sandhana Kalpana. So Sandhana Kalpana is for the preparation of arishtas and asavas. They are the biomedical fermented preparations, which is acidic and slightly alcoholic in nature. But there, in these arishtas and asava preparations, we don't use alcohol directly, but we make the decoctions or cold infusions of the herbs, and we allow it to ferment naturally. To enhance this natural fermentation process, we add certain ingredients like some herbs, some specific herbs like woodfordia, some flowers or the dried flowers, something like that we put in that. So to that enhances the natural fermentation. So the ethyl alcohol formation helps or that potentiates the action of these aristas and asavas, and both like therapeutically and yeah, so it's therapeutically it enhances. So and pharmaceutically. So this is the arishta, the sandhana kalpana mentioned in Ayurveda. So if you look at the samhitas, like the main three root textbooks of Ayurveda, everywhere in all these textbooks there are specific arishta asava kalpanas, or the formulation preparations are mentioned, clearly mentioned according to the conditions. But for the West, in fact, in the Egyptian culture, they first mentioned about the tincture preparation. So they used to soak lot of parts of the plants like leaves or roots or the stem, even flowers like elderberry flowers. So they used to soak different parts of the plant in alcohol. So they used to soak it, and they keep they agitate or they shake it every day and keep it like that for 1 month, not directly in the sunlight, in the shades or inside the rooms. And that was used for curing different ailments. And it was published in Al Kanun fi al Tib. That means the canon of medicine, which is the first publication for sharing these informations. And that was the first basis for the teachings of medicine in the West, especially in the 12th century. So 12th century to the 17th century, people were following that. So then the distillation process, which was totally unknown to the European countries, all of a sudden it started in Scotland. And I think by the 17th century, the other countries also followed. So the tinctures became so popular in the European countries. Then it came to United States. Even in United States, it became so popular. Until 1970s, people were more depending on tinctures, and especially for fever for kids, they used to give different tinctures. And now, in the United States and in other parts of the world, people are using tinctures, especially some Ayurvedic tinctures. So they use plants like skullcap or hope plant, then lemon balm, then chamomile, then vetiver, then for inducing the sleep, like the plant tagara. It is valerian, the valerian plant, then elderberry flower, then yeah, so like even triphala. So they use either the fresh plant, like the red raspberry leaf, which is very good for inflammatory conditions and immune system weakness. And they use these parts of the plants, and they use 80 percentage 80 proof vodka. It is 40 percentage alcohol. So that they use to soak all these things, and they agitate it, and they prepare these tinctures, or triphala or trikatu or something, some Ayurvedic herbs if they are using, like ashwagandha or devadaru, like citrus deodorant. So the dry parts, like the powder of the Ayurvedic herbs, they soak it in vodka, like alcohol, and they make it. And there are some other options, like people who cannot tolerate alcohol, especially for kids. So you can make cordial or then glycerin, the glycerated tinctures. So that doesn't have alcohol. Then vinegar. But compared to the alcoholic tinctures, the other tinctures are considered to be slightly weaker, because alcohol has the property to go deep inside the pores. We call sukshmam in Sanskrit. So they're very powerful, and the dosages are mentioned like 20 drops to 40 drops according to the condition. So that is about tinctures. Then, when it comes to essential oils, Ricardo, essential oils, even I'm a huge fan of essential oils, because it's more like, you feel more calm and grounded when you use essential oils. It doesn't matter what type of essential oil you're using, but you feel so close to the nature. And this essential oil usage is very, it's an in, that's the main part of aromatherapies. and there they use the essential oils from different plants. And in Ayurveda, there are two periods called the Samhita Kalam and Athunika Kalam. So Samhita Kalam means that is more related to the Brihatrayis like Charagacharya, Sushrutaracharya, and Vagbhadacharya. But when it comes to the Athunika Kala, the books written later in the modern era. Okay, so in that, like there is a book called Geda Nigraham. Geda Nigraham. So you might have heard of that, written by Shodala Acharya. So in Geda Nigraha, there are a lot of tincture preparations. We call arkam in Sanskrit. Arka preparation is mentioned. But the main book which is followed in the world, especially for learning about arkam and arka kalpana, is Arka Prakasham. So Arka Prakasham is the most ancient book which is available, the informations available. And do you know who wrote that, Ricardo? Lenkapati Ravana. So goes back to the mythology. Okay. So Ravana was a famous Vaidya. So this Arka Prakasham was written by Ravana. So in that there are almost 196 preparations using single herbs are mentioned, and around 192 yogams or the combinations or the blends are mentioned for making the arkam. Arkam is the compound that we get after the distillation process. Then Arka Kalpana is the procedure where we are, taking we are using the herbs that have a lot of volatile components, and the active principles are, we are collected through the specific process called distillation. It's very similar to the essential oil production in the modern world. So both are similar and very, very effective. So the informations about, preparing arkam from mamsam or the meat, different types of meats, it is mentioned, and how you can give fragrance to that, like keeping jasmine flowers on the top of this yandram called varuni yandram. So it's very interesting, very fascinating, and how you can prepare alcohol through this arka procedure, arka kalpana, from different species of rice or different types of rice, like red rice, white rice. So specific alcohols are prepared. So something closer to the beer preparation in this world, in this modern world, So and the usage, how you are, using that. So the indications are also mentioned. So essential oil preparation or usage of essential oil is very similar, or I would say that is Arka Kalpana. And Arka Kalpana is not that popular in Ayurveda, though it is mentioned here and there. It's not that popular, but it's more into Unani medicine. Unani medicine. So the Unani Vaidyas they practice, and Siddha Vaidyas they practice more Arka Kalpanas, or they use Arkams. And we use Gugulu Arkam, using Gugulu and Guduchi, then Karpura, camphor, then so like that. So many, even gulab, like red rose petals, can also be used, and that is popular among the aromatherapists, right? The rose essential oil, which is calming and pitta pacifying.
Well, thank you so much for the information. It seems I have a little more study to do, more things to learn about. So I know you have a lot of content to share with us regarding home remedies, but could you just very briefly explain how does Ayurveda, what's the Ayurvedic approach on how to use this to balance the system? How does this balancing happen?
The You mean the home remedies?
In, in general, yeah.
In general, okay. So yeah, I think it's a good information for those who are not into Ayurveda, or those who don't have the background of Ayurveda. So I appreciate that question, Ricardo. In fact, each ingredient has specific bioenergetics. So whether it is home remedies or the herbs mentioned in Ayurveda, they have specific actions. So the active principles or the bioenergetics of these ingredients, they are calming down some of the doshas which are deranged, or they help in eliminating some of the aggravated energy principles from the body. As you all know, Vata dosha, Pitta dosha, and Kapha dosha. These three energies are the basic energy principles or the bioenergy principles of our human body and which is the part of the whole world. And Ayurveda says healing means healing the mind, healing the body, and ultimately giving happiness to your consciousness. So once we are incarnated, we forget what is humanity and we depend on the sense organs, and we use these sense organs are portals to satisfy the mind and the consciousness. But if you are indulged more into that, that causes imbalances. So the once you deviate from the harmony, there will be like indications in the body's cry that okay, I have these symptoms, I have aches and pains, I have constipation, I have dryness. So we have to choose the right remedy or the right ingredients to make a tea or to make an application or to have a bath or to make an oil for application or just simple application of oil. So which oil you use? Do you use sesame oil or coconut oil or mustard oil or olive oil or safflower oil? Which one will you choose? So there are certain guidelines that you need to follow. So once you follow all these things, that will be calming down the aggravated energy principle, and the remaining portion will be eliminated from the system. So how it gets eliminated? Does it go through the mouth, or does it go through the nostrils, or does it go through the anal route or through the urine? There are different channels in the body, and the body knows how to eliminate it. What we need to do, we need to enhance this process, enhance this procedure. So with the help or with the supervision of a Vaidya, you have to implement all these things. Don't close your eyes and randomly pick things to manage the health issues. That is not Ayurvedic approach. That we Ayurvedic doctors won't suggest to go for the website and choose the formulations or choose the ingredients as home remedies. We never advise you. We always advise our clients and the general public, because Loga samasta sukhino bhavantu. The whole world should stay healthy and happy, right? So happiness is good health. Happiness is not having diamond jewelry or not having huge amount of dollars in your bank. So happiness is nothing but good health. So your body, your mind, your sense organs, your consciousness and your mind should stay healthy and to be in a harmony. So for that, always take the guidance from an Ayurvedic counselor or an Ayurvedic practitioner or an Ayurvedic Vaidya or a doctor. So they will hold your hands and they will guide you in this journey. So that is what we need to do. Then I think, Ricardo, I will share some of the tips,
Perfect.
uh,
Home
some
remedies for
information.
us. Yes.
Yes, home remedies for you. And first of all, I want I want to say that these are actually very popular in the villages of Kerala. I would say they evolved in the villages of Kerala. Even still, many Ayurvedic doctors and many Ayurvedic Vaidyas, they use all these home remedies as part of the treatment. But as I already mentioned, they know where to use, they know how to use it. Okay, but I'll share the information. So first, I will start with something called a mud dauber wasp. I don't know whether you have heard of this mud dauber wasp in United States or in Canada, but uh, there are a lot of therapeutic values for the mud dauber wasp nest. So the nest is made up of mud. So in Malayalam, in our regional language, we call it as Nilam Toda Mannu. Nilam means the floor. Toda means it doesn't touch. So if you look at the nest, which will be on the corners of the roof of the house or on some tree parts, you can see the nest of this mud dauber or mud dauber wasp nest. So we collect that nest, especially in villages, grandmas. If they see that nest, they'll be super happy. They collect it and they remove the some eggs and some other things will be there inside because it is a wasp nest, right? So what they do, they take it, they powder it, they just powder it, and they put it in a pan. They just fry it. So frying means dry frying. Okay, so dry fry it and keep it in an airtight container. So anyone in the family has an inflammation. For example, bursitis, or they never knew what is bursitis, or like peripheral neuropathy. They never knew that, but they know it's a swelling or a pain. So that time they used to take this powder, again warm it, mix it with the white of the egg, then make the paste, and that is applied on the swollen up area or on the inflammation. They keep it for certain hours, and that in fact helps in reducing the pain and inflammation. And when it comes to Ayurvedic, hospitals or in Ayurvedic clinics, we add so many other ingredients like frankincense, then myrrh, or like Tribulus terrestris, gokshura, some other natural herbs. We mix all these things and we use or recommend for specific conditions. Just like the wood ash I mentioned earlier for the sore throat, and for fever, so anyone can fall into that fever category or can get fever, right? Whether if you eat something like if you go for a rich food and try to satisfy your taste buds without realizing the digestive strength, the next day you feel tired and bloated and the pain. So that time the main home remedy is skipping the meals, which is recommended in Ayurveda also. So, skipping the meals means not skipping the meals for 2 days or 3 days, skipping certain types of food or meals. Instead, they give something else. They make very watery rice gruels, which is even mentioned in Chinese medicine like congis. So congee is a like a long cooked rice gruel with some herbs. So we make the broken red rice congees, or the gruel, rice gruel kind of porridge, and we add more water, and we put long pepper, black pepper, and Himalayan pink salt. So then we cook it, and it should be like well cooked and super mushy with a lot of water, like very liquidy. So that we give to the person who is suffering from fever. And grandmas, they used to make a chutney. So chutney means I would say chutney is the close relative or a big brother of sauce and relishes. So this chutney we can make with roasted coconut, roasted garlic, roasted ginger, and one or two peppercorns. And some people they like spiciness, especially kapha prakriti people. So for them, they use one red chili that also roasted. They grind it and make like a chutney that has a different flavor, different aroma. It's entirely different from the regular chutney or the relish. So that is given along with this rice porridge. And while drinking or while having this food, the yogi or the patient or the client will start sweating because it's spicy. It opens up all the channels. It kills the undigested particles in the stomach. I would say it helps or enhances the digestive fire. So that is a home remedy. So even in Ayurveda, if you look at classical books like Chakradattam or Ashtanga Hridayam, there it is mentioned if you have fever with pain in the flanks and indigestion or nausea, make a rice gruel with broken red rice. Wash the rice thoroughly, like 3 4 times in water, because the consistency varies. If you don't wash the rice and cook, or if you wash it and cook, the properties change. So that is mentioned in Ashtanga Hridayam, Sutrasthanam. So why do we wash? Then they make the rice gruel, and you need to, while making, you have to add long pepper, then draksha. Draksha is raisin. So raisin helps in elimination. It has a mild purging action. And you can add black salt or Himalayan pink salt according to the condition. Then add dry ginger, because Himalayan pink salt is considered as tridoshik. It balances all the three doshas, whereas the black salt, it is not tridoshik. It has it has an odor or a fragrance, I would say, like a sulfur fragrance. So it's more warming in nature. But Himalayan pink salt, it's not warming. It's good for the eyes though. So among all the salts mentioned in Ayurveda, Himalayan pink salt is good for the eyes, and it pacifies all the three doshas, and it has a sweet taste. Salt with a mild sweet taste. That's why we use more Himalayan pink salt in our cooking. So that is the the home remedy for fever. Then, for kids with nasal congestion and sore throat, mild cough, we give pearl onion. Have you heard of pearl onion?
Yes.
Yes. So pearl onion has lot of therapeutic values. So it is kapha vata pacifying, and it helps in opening the channels. It's good for throat infection and cold. So it's a custom. It's a home remedy that we slice this pearl onion. We put rock sugar, like rock sugar candy. So rock sugar, we put it in that, or palm jaggery. If you get palm jaggery or palm sugar, that is also good. So mix everything together, and that you need to give to the children like quite frequently, like every 2 hourly or 3 hourly. So that helps in opening the pores in a sense, the system. So it removes the congestion. I think even in different parts of Canada, people follow this. I heard that they follow these home remedies, like using the pearl onion and sugar syrup, which is very good. And the same pearl onion is used as a postnatal care. So there we make like a lehem or a jam preparation. So there also we use cumin seeds and pearl onion with palm jaggery, make into a paste consistency like a leha preparation, and that is given for the postnatal care, as a postnatal care for the woman. So that helps in cleansing the uterus, and it strengthens the female reproductive system. So and palandu, this pearl onion is excellent medicine for hemorrhoids. Yeah. And Ayurveda says buttermilk, takram, is the best medicine, or the the herb of choice for inflammatory bowel disorders, and hemorrhoids, or we call piles, dry piles, and bleeding piles. There are different categories. So for arshas, takram is one of the best options. But that is not the only one remedy for curing these conditions. For a person with ulcerative colitis or a person with hemorrhoids, that person should go to the doctor or should go to the Vaidya for the better options or the better treatment. But these are considered as the home remedies. Then for sleeplessness, those who are tired of like the work, or too much stressed out, or due to any underlying causative factors like PTSD or any psychiatric issues, so to induce sleep, there are so many home remedies are available, like applying oil on the feet at bedtime, just gentle massage with a warm oil. Then so choose the right one, so which is more suitable for that person's body and for that person's condition. Okay, so that warm oil is applied and given, and we give a mild massage for 5 to 10 minutes. And at the time of going to bed, we suggest boiled milk with turmeric powder, nutmeg powder, and a pinch of licorice, and a pinch of ginger, or a few drops of ginger juice, or dry ginger powder. Boil nicely. So that induces sleep. Or application of butter on the bregmatic area or on the vertex of the skull. So these are the simple home remedies people use for getting sleep. So this application of butter is practiced in the Ayurvedic field, because there we use some powder, some medicated powder that are mixed with this butter, and that is applied. But in home remedy, They just apply only butter to induce sleep, especially in Vata Pitta imbalanced conditions. But if the person has any nasal congestion or any other type of congestion with indigestion, that will worsen the issue. Okay. So yeah, so the simple sleeplessness or disturbed sleeps will be balanced or will be managed with these techniques. And what else? Like spider bite. Spider bite. So for spider bite, the most popular home remedy is like using tulsi leaves, making the paste of tulsi leaves with indigo plant. So indigo plant, we call it amari, Neela amari. So neeli, that herb. So that one, this tulsi leaves, we make the paste with honey, or you can make a paste with the turmeric and ginger juice, and that is applied on the spider bitten area. So frequent application, that will definitely help. And at the same time, we give this tulsi and turmeric paste along with the neem, these three combo, like small boluses, we allow the client to gulp. And there are some Ayurvedic pills. I'm not mentioning the name. So these pills are widely used, or that pill is widely used as a home remedy in Kerala. So for local application and to intake. And I know that Ricardo is familiar with that pill, but I'm not sharing that now. So that pill is considered as a home remedy, though it is an Ayurvedic formulation. It has lot of antitoxin effect in the system, and it is very popular in this season in essence, in this current pandemic scenario. Everywhere people are using that, and we are not getting enough stock here now because lack of production. Everyone demands that. Okay, now coming to the feet crack, the cracks on the feet, especially in fall season and winter, many people get these cracks on the feet. So for that, the one of the popular home remedies is application of guduchi patram, guduchi, the leaves of guduchi plant, the giloi plant. They make the paste and they apply it more frequently. Second option is application of the henna plant's leaf paste that they apply. Third option is mixing um, this castor oil with the ghee and adding turmeric powder in that. So equal quantity of castor oil, ghee, and turmeric powder. They make the paste and apply more frequently, like every 3 hourly. They just apply that. So that helps in healing the cracks of the feet. And there are some royal spa treatments like dipping the feet in warm water with some a few drops of glycerin, and then putting rose petals in that, then washing the feet, adding some lemon juice in that, then using pumice stone, then after that applying the papaya paste, then leave it for half an hour. Then once you wash it off with the lukewarm water, then again applying a thin film of coconut oil and castor oil like a moisturizing agent. Then if you want, you can put some essential oils like patchouli or ylang ylang, so that has a good fragrance. So these are the home remedies you can do for healing that. Okay, but a person who has diabetes or a person suffering from other skin disorders, so for them this is not the remedy. They have to meet the vaidya, or they have to go to the doctor to seek the immediate help from them, because that can cause serious issues in their life if they neglect that. Then the spices like garlic. So garlic has a lot of therapeutic values. It helps in controlling the blood pressure. Then it helps in cardiovascular disorders. So this garlic, when you roast this garlic and apply and mash it, then put it on a wart or on a cone, then bandage it. That helps in removing the wart and cone. Okay, because of its powerful action. It is Ushnam and Tikshna. So warts are mainly caused by a kind of virus, whereas cones are not. So it helps. Then for the warts, ginger, like you have to take a piece of ginger, then sharpen the edge of the ginger, then just dip it in calcium hydroxide or the slaked lime. So just dip it and rub the wart. And the same thing you can use for cones also. So that helps a lot, helps a lot. And the same slaked lime is applied on bee sting, because the bee sting is acidic in nature. So something base helps. But at the same time, if it is a wasp sting, like yellow jacket sting, then if you apply slaked lime, it will worsen. So there you need to go for vinegar. Instead of slaked lime, you have to go for something acidic in nature. So that is the difference between these bites. Then taking something internally like boiling water with tulsi leaves and turmeric, then adding 1 or 2 drops of castor oil, like medicated castor oil, will help in eliminating the toxins from the system, from the body. And for nasal congestion, common cold, or allergic rhinitis, especially the sneezing. So for that, steam inhalation with certain herbs like tulsi leaves, then phlomis or drona pushpi, phlomis, then cumin powder, then dry ginger powder, turmeric powder. So we add these spices and boil the water. Then we suggest them to, take that steam inhalation. That helps in opening the channels and removes the congestion and arrests that sneezing and cold. Then the same, tulsi leaves juice is applied on the brekma for half an hour to 1 hour to reduce that. And for sinusitis, this tulsi leaves juice with honey is like 1 drop or 2 drops are inhaled like a nasya. So that also help in eliminating the accumulated phlegm from the sinuses. And for kids, there is one plant called the Coleus aromaticus, the I think the rock foil. So its leaves, we warm the leaf like mild. It should be mild warmer. Then we take the juice, and that juice is mixed with honey, and that is given frequently, more frequently. So that helps in removing, especially if the kid is having some tendency to develop adenoids, like a family history or frequent tonsillitis. So this helps a lot. And we make oil also for the scalp with the same Coleus aromaticus and tulsi leaves. But as a home remedy, people used to add lot of these herbs when they make 100 ml or 200 ml of oil, but that causes lot of issues. But we Ayurvedic doctors, we know how much we have to add because they are very warming in nature. So for warming herbs, you always have to choose an oil which is not too warming, right? Yeah, and in fall season, we suggest sesame oil for everyday application on the body. We don't suggest, this one, coconut oil. So sesame oil is warming, but in summer, it's always better to go for coconut oil because coconut oil is cooling in action. But for a person who is always feeling cold, like a typical Vada Prakriti person, and for that person, applying coconut oil in summer also can cause some aches and pains. So you need to think twice before suggesting all these, home remedies. And for urine retention also, there are a few home remedies like drinking coconut water, like tender coconut water. In that, we put cardamom powder or the seeds of cardamom. So, which is very good, like in relieving the retention of urine, and we call diuretic action. So that cleanses the urinary tract, just like people drink cranberry juice. And Of late, there are a lot of researches happened to know the differences between the Vulang coconut and the common species of coconut, Cocos nucifera, because the one which is available in Java in Indonesia, that has a lot of sodium content, whereas the regular species, that has more potassium. So these research studies are very good. It's very interesting to know different species and to know the properties. Just like aromatherapy, if you see, there are more than 45 types of lavender. So which one you are using, the Bulgarian variety you are using, or the regular one you are using, or which sage you are using, sage essential oil. So each species has different properties. But even there is another one home remedy. I still don't know the therapeutic value behind that, Ricardo. The dried skin of the coconut tree, a heap of the dried skin is scraped out, and that is actually applied on fresh wounds caused by the iron implements, and you don't believe immediately it get arrested and it won't get infected.
Wow.
So which is a very common and widely used type of home remedy in Kerala. So everyone has at least 10 coconut trees in their house. So they go and scrape it, and especially kids, they keep falling while playing. They put it on the wound, and that bleeding gets arrested. It won't get infected. It subsides. Yes. So I still don't know what is the active principle, or the bioenergetics of that skin. It might be having some stampana property like our turmeric, because turmeric powder is also having the same action, right? Yeah, so like that, there are a lot, but I think I have taken a lot of time. So
Oh, great for
the
great information. Maybe we'll do a second episode continuing the series of home remedies. Dr.
yes.
Sheena, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. If people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you? How can they get in contact?
You can I can share my personal account email address. So they can contact me if they want to have any questions, or if they want to take an appointment with me from Kerala Ayurveda, they can directly contact Kerala Ayurveda and take an appointment. And I'm so happy to help people who are really looking forward to get healed with through the natural, techniques or the natural measures available and the ingredients in the kitchen or in the kitchen cabinet. And I'm so happy that you invited me, Ricardo. I'm so happy and thankful. And this is actually very great that you're doing that, sharing the wisdom, this Ayurveda to the entire world, which is needed now.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's my pleasure and my privilege to have you here, share your knowledge. So, hope to see you soon, Dr. Sheena. Thank you so much. We'll keep in
Thank you,
touch.
Ricardo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, thank you everyone for listening to the episode. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and I wish you good health. See you on the way.